This is so funny. I'm gonna crash out. I f my way into this marriage and I'm gonna f my way out. Lewis, please give me your plug's contact info. Oh my god, I'm cosplaying. That's it, I'm dead. Lewis did another stupid video. I changed my mind. Let's watch Lewis Mcclung first, because this is like a 20-minute video and we can just get it over with, and then we'll watch the Mally Malware stream, okay? Let me come over here really quick, you guys. So, Lewis Mcclung, our favorite ginger twink. You might remember this guy because this is the guy that made the cancel hit piece on Danky Jaboo over literally nothing, and then got crucified and dragged through the town square kicking and screaming. Probably has the collective IQ when he thinks really hard of like 78, 79. Very, very stupid, very, very dumb. And obviously his channel has just gone to complete fucking shit after trying to crucify Danky Jaboo over nothing, because you can see here, this is kind of when we started to fall off here, is after that situation. We're seeing that we're getting, you know, sub 100k views on most of our videos. This is a channel that has 261k subscribers, and we can, you know, not even break 100k. This one is from a week ago, and it's got 3.9k views. So let's go ahead and give Lewis the views. He obviously really needs them. So today we're talking about whataboutisms, and as I said before, I do not believe with truth in my heart that Lewis Mcclung could define for us a whataboutism with a loaded gun to his head without using ChatGPT to describe it. So let's see. And of course, if you want the drama with Lewis Mcclung from the Danky Jaboo situation, of course I went over it. Of course I did. So if you want that, you can go and watch that. And then as you can see, obviously, Lewis Mcclung cut his hair. So I apologize. Trigger warning, Lewis Mcclung with a buzz cut. I'm very sorry. I hate long hair on men, but I hate whatever the f this little 1920s football helmet haircut is a lot more. So get your sparkling water. Let's lock in.
Famous redhead once said that if everybody is super, nobody is. Welcome, members of the audience, back to my channel. It's been a while, so I hope you're doing all right. And today we're talking about something a little heavy-handed, and I need you to get your adult thinking caps on.
I'm loving the they, them, lesbian energy in this video. This is terrible. This is just terrible. This is like my sleep paralysis demon. It's so bad.
Because I'm not going to take it easy on you like I usually do. The world is basically falling apart around us. This happens about every 100 years, okay? Usually in the 20s, funny enough. And everything just kind of throws up on the ground. Everything does. And we all have to pick up the pieces and figure it out. But I only own this small sector of humanity that is my brain. And what I have noticed, based on my limited observation, is a problem. Back to that saying from that famous redhead. Did you know he's actually played by the same guy who plays Dave from Alvin and the Chipmunks? Just thought you should know. If everybody's super, then nobody is. What am I talking about, right? Of course, every person is...
I also don't know why we have a Band-Aid on our neck. It's giving, like, I want everybody to think that I'm tough vibes. I don't know. Like, did he nick himself shaving, like, the 3 hairs that grow on his neck? I don't know. I don't know. He's so just horrible. He's just horrible. Everything about him gives me the ick. And especially the neon trees merch in here. Neon trees, like every time, you guys, every time, it's like a punch to the stomach. Every single time I watch a Lewis Mcclung video, I have never wanted to cyberbully another human being more. Like, ever. Like, I'm an adult, and I'm like, I need a locker to shove this twink into. That's how I feel every time that I watch Lewis Mcclung. It just makes me... I'm like vibrating with like pure hate, but I'm fine.
In their own way. But that lends to a specific saying that if everybody's special, then nobody is. In no way is any meaningful experience you've ever had individual. Hell, most meaningless things you've had to endure are also probably not individual. Probably not one thing I've ever said, thought, or done is specific to me. So bleak, you might think. And to those with fragile egos and pride.
What is this? Is he going on like a poetry binge? I know. He probably did mushrooms for the first time, had ego death, and then decided to cut his hair and go into like this weird introspective poetry journey. This is the leadhead effect, I believe. This is the leadhead effect.
That have already left the video. It's been multiple people. Their experience is not individual. Their pridefulness is probably one of the most shared things amongst individuals. Whataboutism? A phenomenon. A logical fallacy. A whataboutism is a logical fallacy.
Lewis Mcclung debate, bro, arc. This is so funny. I'm going to crash out.
Fallacy that in an argument, when you bring up a point, somebody rebuttals with an accusation. For instance, if I were to say world hunger is a problem, but then you would bring up some conflict to rebuttal me saying that I don't care about that conflict because I care about world hunger. And
that's not what a whataboutism is, actually. A whataboutism is just something that deflects and like it's a complete goalpost shift. So a better example would say, I want to talk today about world hunger. And it's like, okay, well, what about all of the people that are getting blown up in Syria right now? What about them? It's quite literally just a goalpost shift. That it isn't pointing out the inconsistency in your logic. It's changing the topic of the discussion because you're doing an appeal to like inconsistency. If you say, how can you care about world hunger if you don't care about the little Syrian children getting blown up? That's not a whataboutism. A whataboutism is a pivot to a different topic. It's not pointing out inconsistent. Okay. We're a minute 59 into this video, and we could not even Google what a whataboutism is. Like, what even comes up? Whataboutism fallacy. Let's see. What comes up, guys? Whataboutism is a logical fallacy and a rhetorical tactic used to deflect criticism by accusing the opponent of hypocrisy rather than addressing the initial statement. A whataboutism redirects attention to a different issue or alleged wrongdoing. So if we let's go to good old-fashioned Wikipedia here. Whataboutism or whataboutery, as in but what about X, refers to a propaganda strategy of responding to an accusation with a counter accusation instead of offering an explanation or a defense to the original accusation. I understand what happened. Do you guys want to see what happened? I'll show you what happened. Let me allow this to load. Lewis Mcclung Googled this and he read the AI summary. He didn't read the actual definition of what a whataboutism is. That's what happened. He read the AI overview. He didn't read the actual definition because the AI overview says that it's calling out hypocrisy. Whataboutisms don't call out hypocrisy. That's what happened. He read the AI chat overview. That's the funniest thing that I've heard all day today. Nice.
Didn't mention this conflict that's going on. I'm not talking about any conflict in specific. Again, if you for an instant there thought, is he making fun of so-and-so conflict? Ukraine, Palestine, any of them, the Congo, Nepal. If you thought for a second any of those things, that's a whataboutism. You wanting to jump in with the accusation that I am somehow undermining something you care about, or maybe you don't even care about it, is exactly what a whataboutism is. It's a logical...
Oh my god. He totally got one-shotted by ayahuasca, guys. That's what happened. Oh my god.
Fallacy in the way that if you are not directly countering somebody's argument or you're not directly addressing their comment or argument, then you are not adding anything of substance. Big words, and if you made it all the way through that, I'm very proud of you. Basically, it's the Gen Z thing, okay? The cancel culture thing of somebody says one thing, but that means they didn't say this thing, and therefore they're a bad person. This is a new logical fallacy.
This is not what this is called. What? What? Saying that... The very easiest parallel to this is somebody saying, oh, you're pro-life, but you support the death penalty. That's an appeal to hypocrisy. That's not a whataboutism. A whataboutism changes the topic of the conversation. Gen Z invented whataboutisms, guys. This is crazy.
See, it actually hasn't existed very long because it's only propped up because of the internet. Really, obviously people have done it before, but...
True. No one has ever done a whataboutism before Twitter was invented, true.
It's more noticeable now, where people are very self-absorbed in their own worlds because of the internet. Here's some examples of whataboutisms. I say, hey, kids getting in the gym, that's totally cool. Oh, so you hate people with diabetes. One.
That's not a whataboutism. That's not what a whataboutism is. Dude, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna flambe this little twink. Dude, what the fuck? That's not a whataboutism. That's not, oh my god. He literally just read the AI overview of this. He didn't do, oh my god! I don't think I can watch this whole thing. I don't think I can. Let's see how many examples we can get through, because I'm gonna punch a hole in my fucking monitor. Dude.
Do you know what you're talking about? Two, I didn't say anything about kids with diabetes. Does that have anything to do with what I said? No, and that's the point. You're right in some cases for bringing things up that people didn't mention, but most of the time it's who the fuck asked? And that's a genuine response that you can have to those people who take it upon themselves to, in layman's terms, obviously I'm not going down any alt-right pipeline. Because of the sudden spreading of ideas via the internet, a lot of people think their individual point of view, their individual opinion matters. Important enough to correct others with anecdotes. An anecdote is just a personal or somebody you know's experience, an individual, one-time, straining individual experience. To despise others, to use that anecdote to hate people, or to use that anecdote as proof of something that you're not proving with it. No,
yeah, he's confusing this with straw man arguments, where A straw man is where somebody constructs an argument that you're not making and then attacks that. So if I say, I think that the death penalty should be abolished because it's expensive and, you know, people who are wrongfully convicted get killed by the state, and I don't think that's appropriate. As a rebuttal to that, somebody would say, like, oh, so you don't support the death penalty because you think that it's appropriate for like killers and child rapists to run free. Okay, got it. In that case, like, why don't we just let all the criminals be free? A straw man is just constructing an imagined argument and then attacking that instead of the actual argument. Please get rid of Chat GPT summaries. Please, God, institutionalize this man immediately.
Anecdote will never be an answer, and every single whataboutism is basically just an anecdote. An opinion, a one-off motion.
A whataboutism is not an anecdote.
That you feel is your right to have, your right to expose to the world, in which it is, but you're wrong on principle. You can never technically be correct when using a logical fallacy because your argument is always based off of falsehood. You could be saying something that, if worded differently, is entirely correct, but because you use a logical fallacy, your argument is null and void. If I were to say, trans people deserve rights, and somebody were to say, oh, so you want to mutilate kids, I didn't say nothing about hurting children.
That's called a straw man. That is a straw man. That's a straw man. That is a scarecrow. Like, that is... Your blood pressure, my lord. Macaroni time. Macaroni time was on. He's confusing whataboutisms and strawmen. That's so funny. That is a scarecrow.
That would be an accusation, and therefore a whataboutism. But to address an argument...
And an accusation is not a fucking... That... Oh my god. No, you fucking idiot. Dude. That's an ad hominem. Personal attacks are ad hominems. My costume isn't your fucking culture, Lewis, please!
With your personal feelings, specifically violent accusation, is always a fallacy. Because for lack of hurting your feelings, I'm going to say this with the utmost abrasiveness I possibly can. My opinion, your opinion, is largely irrelevant to the greater whole. That being said, if people do agree with you on a larger basis, famously people are not that smart, so that wouldn't really matter either. The real way to know if you are correct is if you aren't being a bad person. Let me elaborate. But before we get to that, a word from today's sponsor. Don't you just love waking up the day after a party completely disoriented and dehydrated? I sure don't. Personally, I like to be nothing but my best the next day to make sure that—
Oh my god, he has a sponsorship for, like, rip-off, like, hangover cures? Has this man ever drank anything other than a single twisted tea? Please, you guys, I want to be dead so bad right now. I want to be dead more than I— Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm cosplaying. That's it, I'm dead. I literally can't finish this fucking stream.
That happens before I start drinking. I take some Z-Biotics. A cute little capsule of probiotics you take before, not after.
Dude, please. He's drinking like one pink Whitney, and he's like, oh my god, my hangover. I'm fine. I'm fine.
After you start to drink alcohol. When you drink, the unwanted byproduct created in your gut is acetaldehyde. Basically, to simplify it, it's the feel-bad chemical. And what Z-Biotics does, promise you, yeah, there are. Murder.
Dude, he totally drinks. I remember my first beer.
Is wrong. Rape is wrong. Slavery is wrong. All of these opinions have something in common, in that they are formed by those who are oppressed. Any opinion formed by those who are oppressed because they are oppressed is often correct. For instance, that slavery is wrong. The people who are enslaving people are never going to think that what they're doing is wrong because they gain from it. But the oppressed, the enslaved, will always be correct and think that their human rights being stricken from them is wrong. Restriction to information for—
Well, if no one's opinion matters, then who's correct? The slave owner or the slave? You never know. It's all subjective, really, if you think about it.
For instance, the trademark sign of fascism is wrong because it is oppression in the way that it is taking away your human right to act—
You guys, do you think that Lewis Mcclung could define fascism? We're taking a pivot to political content, and this is woke just a robot. Inside of you, there are two wolves. There's woke just a robot, and then there's evil conservative just a robot. You control them both. You feed them both.
access knowledge, and that's bad. And that opinion is correct because nobody should ever ban a book or take away access to knowledge.
No one should ever ban a book or take away access to knowledge. Okay.
But those are opinions formed by those in aggregate who suffer. The opinion that people aren't allowed to say things that harm the grander opinion of others is relatively new. For instance, I greatly appreciate—
What were the Crusades? What were the book burnings and Nazi— what do you mean? 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 What does he mean? It's a new— censorship is new? What? What?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
The effort and the movement to garner more grander knowledge of what it means to be transgender, to make people understand what
Is he? Oh, what?
access to knowledge. But those are opinions formed by those in aggregate who suffer. The opinion that people aren't allowed to say things that harm the grander opinion of others is relatively new. For instance, I greatly appreciate the effort and the movement to garner more grander knowledge of what it means to be transgender, to make
What was happening? Okay, so we have transgender people. We have trans people. Where are we going next? Trans people. Okay, now what? Okay, where are we going now? What's happening?
people understand what it is, to make people care. Treat them like humans with the right
We want to care. Okay, we care. Okay, I understand. Okay, what's next?
that they have. And then somebody coming along and thinking it is their right because, well, they have an opinion, to therefore grandly accuse that person of wanting to hurt children because of their
Okay, and then trans people bad. Okay, trans people bad. Got it. Okay, what's next? I'm trying to understand trans people bad. People bad. Okay, now what?
beliefs or existence. That's a whataboutism. Let me give you an example.
Let's call a straw man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck! He's so stupid. I need to go get like the blood pressure cuff. What do I do? What do we do? That's not a fucking whataboutism. That's a straw man.
Blatant, blaring example of a whataboutism that happened in my comment section. Let me paint a picture for you, or you just can go watch it. It was a video about AI, and I made a little backhanded joke at AI's expense. I think they'll get over it. Where I said that they could not.
He's gonna say like, oh my god, AI is so bad. Meanwhile, this fucking idiot got his information from the AI summary of a whataboutism. Oh, 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 oh. As Jesus Christ once said so notably in Ezekiel, this ugly, ghastly twink in the name of our Lord and Savior, our Father. Amen. Thank you, Christ. Obviously, this is my just kidding heart. We don't condone violence. Holy fuck.
Not imagine the apple, all right? An AI just can't. They can't imagine an apple. They can construct it piece by piece with images of apples that they've seen. So I went on and I wrote.
The AI can't imagine an apple. That's because it's not sentient. I'm gonna say a slur by the end of this video.
I went, haha, loser, you can't imagine it, you can't see the apple in your head, dogging on AI. Somebody in my comment section took it upon themselves to say this. Please don't go find this person's comment and harass them further. That is not the point. That would be kind of a whataboutism, not necessarily. But you would.
When I get pulled over by the cops for drunk driving, it's a whataboutism. When I get into a fight with my wife about not taking out the garbage, that's a whataboutism. When my dog shits in the house, that's a whataboutism.
Would just be a fool and an idiot for that. But this person put in a time of what I said, what I was talking about, and they said, I know it's not the point. Do you? I know it's not the point of the video, but hearing that I'm a loser for not being able to visualize stuff in my head hurts. I was born with aphantasia, which means I don't have a mind's eye. A mind's eye is not a scientific term. It's not something I can help.
It's not a scientific. You're fucking. Dude, I'm fine. Everything is cool. I'm cool. Let's go ahead and continue. This is totally a whataboutism. This is a whataboutism. Tell me about it. It's true.
It's just the way I am. Lewis, if you're seeing this, please be more aware in the future. Let me get something straight. In the video where I was dogging on AI, you took it upon yourself to feel offended by something that I said that had nothing to do with you. You decided to pervert it in your head, and then
Hey guys, if you can't do this thing, I think you're a fucking idiot, and you're not worthy of moral consideration. I'm talking about AI, and because AI can't envision the apple, AI is degenerate, stupid, deserves to be eradicated, and is not worthy of moral consideration because the AI cannot envision the apple. If the criteria on which we are denoting that AI is insufficient in emulating human consciousness is the ability to conjure the apple in your mind, the next logical step of that is that if that is what you are hinging consciousness on, if an individual human being lacks that trait, that is what you are describing as lacking consciousness, and therefore attacking individuals that do not possess that trait. If I say AI can't conjure the apple, therefore AI is stupid and should be eradicated because consciousness is contingent on being able to conjure the apple, what does that say about individual human beings that cannot conjure the apple? What does that say? Hmm. Sorry for doing a whataboutism, my bad.
accuse me of attacking you with my words. When, in reality, what happened is you, sitting at a screen, had two choices. One, do nothing. Two,
Is this whole video him crashing out because somebody left a mean comment on one of his YouTube videos? I need to be in a padded room right now, dude. I need to be in a padded room.
take it as a personal affront to you and rebuttal. Attack me back. That is a fallacy, a whataboutism. Instead of
The vending machine ate my change. Whataboutism?
having a conversation or even stating that you have this thing that is exactly what I described that AI has. When in reality, what you have could be a blessing or a curse. It doesn't matter, okay? What you're saying had no bearing on what I was saying.
Aw, it's so sweet that he's like, it could be a blessing that you're basically like degenerate and unable to think logically and not like sentient at all because you don't possess this like very superficial trait. Which, by the way, I'm not a pussy, so I'll say it. If you can't conjure the apple, you are not worthy of moral consideration. If you cannot create visual imagery in your head, you are not a human being to me. So, I mean, I'll say it with my chest because I'm not a fucking pussy like Lewis is. Anyway, so today on the menu, we're cooking up whataboutisms.
And I have no remorse for pointing out in that comment section that you perverted my words to further an agenda that you had out of nowhere for no reason. This is a strategy used by many, many online. I think that their general discomfort of something makes it wrong. Two things. One, your discomfort is a real good thing.
I'm really uncomfortable with Lewis Mcclung's face, so I think that we should redact it. I think that he should be forced to make YouTube videos with a paper bag on his head.
Sometimes, you know, if you see something that makes you discomforted, that's probably a sign to do something about it. Not attack, but converse. I was not there to attack you. You decided that I was. And that's a strange, weird thing to do that my generation and younger has a problem with hastily coming to that conclusion that your personal feelings on a situation means that you have the right to feel attacked and therefore attack back. It's strange. It's a very strange thing that we all do. I have done it many times on the internet, right? I am no saint. I am no hero, okay? I've done it many times online where I have...
I think that he's like developing psychosis. Like, this doesn't make any sense. I think I truthfully am concerned for this man's well-being. I think that he is developing active psychosis right now. I think we are watching the budding phases of like a manic episode. This is concerning.
broadcast my opinion in the form of an attack, all right? Again, we're all guilty of this, all right? I wasn't talking about humans. I was talking about metaphysical robots, okay? Another example, many examples I saw of whataboutisms. Ned Fulmer and his adultery scandal, all right? Happened 3 years ago. Jeez. I don't know what happened 3 years ago, bro. That was crazy. I hated learning that fact. One, let me get something straight. Adultery's wrong. Fuck's wrong with you, dude. And you did it on a platform where you publicly doing this.
Oh my God, he's actually saying fucked out. Like, look at the eyes. This is the eyes of someone who is actively conversing with Christ and like can actually like physically see Christ in the room and have back and forth conversations with the delusional manifestations of his mind. Like, we are unwell. He is unwell. Lewis, you need to take your lithium, bro. Holy shit.
Is going to hurt your wife more than it's going to hurt you? Fuck's wrong with you, right? But that was 3 years ago. There's this thing called learning, growing, and changing, and some people have the belief that cheating makes you irreparable, unsavable. I think that's wrong. That's not how humans work. We grow and we change, okay? And for everybody on the internet, for him coming back 3 years later, basically to give his ex-wife a platform, I mean, sure, he wants a platform too, and there is something to criticize there. Everybody took it upon themselves, fiddled their way into accusing Ned of hurting them. Hold on. Let me bring up an example. Again, I'm not protecting Ned Fulmer. He deserves what he got. Does he deserve what he's getting, though? That's for you guys to decide. With a discussion, not just jumping on the bandwagon of hate, like a bunch of inconsolable idiots, okay? Everybody's basically taking it upon themselves to defend this woman who doesn't need your help. She does not need your backup, dude. She killed that interview. Ned, I don't hate him. I have no strong feelings for the man, okay?
Is he okay? Is he okay?
Do I think he deserves all the hate he's getting? Not really. I don't think he deserves the attention. That's the thing, right? But here, let me pull up some comments from their video. This came out the day, right? The first comments were, supporting Ariel is truly the only reason why I'm here. Nobody asked you. And by the way, you're not...
Somebody left a comment on a YouTube video. Somebody left a comment supporting the girlfriend that was cheated on. What's happening right now? Where are we? Did I accidentally do mushrooms earlier today and I am breaking through right now? What the fuck is happening?
You're not really supporting just her. You're supporting both of them. And that's okay. That's okay. All right? That's an okay thing to do because supporting just her. You're supporting both of them. And that's okay.
A Delulu train is he's got to be on something. This is look at his pupils. Oh yeah, he's cooked, bro. Look at his pupils. Can you guys see that? You can't. He has like brown eyes, but like where the tip of my cursor is where his pupil is, and then you can see the little light. So
Hey, that's okay. All right, that's an okay thing to do because they're just two people with kids who are trying to work their life out, and you're not special for thinking your hate towards a man who committed adultery.
what do we? What do you guys think the comments on this are? This is a great point. I would never read stuff about essay rape. What? Where does this go? Why is the rape mentioned in here? What? What's happening? What's happening?
She's had pain and struggle and trouble because of him, but she is killing it now. All right, she killed that. She killed that podcast. What are you talking about? This just shows how horrible you really are. Nobody was waiting for you to return to the internet. If you're low on money, get a job. I'm sure your infamous Yale degree can help with that. These are all just attacks, blatant attacks. First off, you obviously cared. That's why you showed up. You care about Ariel, and I'm not going to take that away from you. We all do. But we also cared to hear what he had to say, and I thought he was relatively uninteresting, yeah, but way more grown up and mature than he used to be. Instead of telling her how to feel and responding to everything she said, most of the time he was just letting her talk and asking questions. A famous clip taken out of context, may I add. If you watch the goddamn video, you would have got it, where he says, "I'm sorry society did that."
Like, you gave that to me, and now I have to carry that around for the rest of my life.
I don't think it's fair that as a society you're put in that position.
And everybody's like, who's society? Well, we didn't do that. It was you. That's a whataboutism, because first off, you don't know the context, because what Ariel was talking about, you guys don't get it. You're the problem. What Ariel was talking about is what society had done to her in the fallout of her ex-husband's actions, okay? Yes, it's his fault, but society then took it upon themselves to bombard her and accuse him, and maybe even accuse her in some small niche cases, of what happened. What did she do? Why did he feel so uncared for? The entire point of the discussion leading up to that question, an apology from him, was entirely directed to her and what she was talking about, and you ignored her. Your whataboutisms and your self-righteous nature.
Oh my god, he's literally on crack. He's literally on crack. I feel like I've been on public transportation and a crackhead, this exact archetype of somebody strung out on crack has approached me for cigarettes before.
You ignored a woman who was adulterated, okay? And for what? Because you want to be part of internet drama that you don't understand. You're all young and have never been married, and you never did anything like this. Is what Ned did justifiable? In most cases, no. Not
in no case is fucking cheating justified. What are you talking about? In this case, it might not be. There is never an instance where cheating is justified. What the fuck are you talking about? You just end the relationship. What?
At all. The only case where adultery is allowable is when it's the only way you can see to get out of an abusive relationship. But the problem is that society...
How does fucking somebody else get you out of the relationship, Lewis? You fucking pea-brained fucking redacted. I almost said it. You just leave... I had to fuck my way out of this marriage. I fucked my way into this marriage, and I'm gonna fuck my way out. What are you talking about? Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm tweaking out. Lewis, give me your plug's phone number. I need some of the good shit. Lewis, please give me your plug's contact info.
In this one case, right now, 3 years later, is the problem because they're working it out as adults through thick and thin to give their kids a life, and be in it and go on trips together, right? That was a little weird for him to say. It's like, just because we're at a Taylor Swift concert, like, hey buddy, we get what you're trying to do. Like, you can poke fun at him, but y'all are missing the goddamn point, okay? She is the star of the show. Yeah, we know. I watched the whole thing. I know she's the star of the show. I don't need you idiots out here going, Ned kind of...
Oh my god, he's crashing. You dumb fucks. You fucking dumb, brainless little un-apple conjuring, uncurious, unserious, unacademic, dumb motherfuckers in the audience. You, dear viewer, are the dumb fuck in this situation. Every single person right now viewing this, I'm looking at you. Idiot! Oh my god, dude. He's on the street Adderall. Him and Jar must have the same plug. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Stupid. Who asked you, dude? It's been 3 years. He's just an idiot, all right? He's an idiot. You have no stake in this. The problem, in their podcast, they just talk about how the public decided to have a stake in their relationship, and it made it so much worse and so much harder, and everybody's like, who's we? We didn't do this to her. You guys did do stuff to her. That's the point of the podcast episode.
What are we talking about?
Basically, the idea that everybody's individual identity is the most important thing to the individual. What is that?
Identitarianism? We've walked a 1,000 miles, you guys, and this is a 15-minute video. This is crack. This is amphetamine abuse. This is me after 3 days of no sleep, about to crack the code to the Matrix. No, honey, I can't come to bed. As soon as I finish organizing my tools, the fucking Lionsgate portal is gonna open up. You have to trust me. This is crack behavior. Oh my God.
What does that mean? Let me give you some questions, some dilemmas, right? If a Nazi, somebody from the belief that, people of certain colors and creeds don't deserve to exist. Though if somebody from that regime, from that Reich, decided to create the cure for cancer, and it was potent, and it worked, and it was an efficient, cheap answer to solve all
It was potent. Okay, so the hypothetical is if a Nazi creates a cure for cancer, what happens when you give a mouse a cookie? I don't know. Let's ask.
forms of cancer, would you use it? I'm not going to answer it for you. What
Yes.
if you met somebody who identified both as trans and a Nazi? What would be your first response?
And then what, you guys, what is going on? Oh my God, what is happening? You guys, what if you met a Nazi? And what if that Nazi had a cure for cancer? Would you use it? Oh yeah, well, what if that Nazi was trans? What is going on? Am I on crack? Are we on crack together? Are we all on crack? Did we all come up at the same time? You guys, did we all do mushrooms and we're peaking together? What the fuck is happening? What's happening?
This one I am going to answer. First off, no, you're not. You don't know what one of those two things means, okay? But your identity
Obviously, Louis Mcclung has not spent very much time on trans Twitter because there are, in fact, many trans Nazis. Yes, there are.
matters more to you.
Like, who was it? It was like the director of propaganda. I can't remember his fucking name. One of like the pretty high up ministers in the Third Reich was Jewish. There were also many people in, Africa that collaborated with the Nazis. Also a lot of people in the Middle East that collaborated with the Nazis. That doesn't, obviously later they got redacted. But yes, the colloquial phrase for this would be, I can't really say a lot of the words. Quisling would be the word that you would describe. In the same way that historically there were Jews that took on the role as essentially like barracks guards, and those people were referred to as capos, and those were people that betrayed, their fellow prisoners, who also happened to be Jewish in order to get preferred treatment from the Nazis, or believe that they were, the quote unquote good one out of the batch and that they would be spared because they took up, the whip essentially against other Jews. Unfortunately, your identity does not exclude you from having a contradictory political ideology. Don't tell them about Nosballs. Don't do it.
You than the actual definitional or ramifications of the things that you do. For instance, let me go back to that question. I'm going to answer it now. I didn't mean to blue ball you. But if a Nazi did create a potent, cheap, efficient, real cure that didn't get hidden from the public to cancer, yeah, we would use it. Are you kidding me? It would save more lives than they would ever hope to end. Okay? Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter who made it. But the idea of identitarianism is not always wrong and bad just because of that. Usually it's just like the person's identity is what they make, right? There's the famous argument that can art exist separate from its artist?
Dude, I gotta get whatever the fuck he's smoking. This shit's insane, dude. This is insane. I need some of this. If anybody knows Louis Mcclung's plug, please, dude. I'm itching to go on a 3-day deep cleaning bender. I really need it. So please.
Some people say absolutely. I don't have to know who an artist is to experience their art. And then the other side says that you could have never had that art and that experience without the artist. No, it's the Ouroboros thing, and it just goes around in a circle. But what I believe is, yes, you could not have, for instance, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's just
Zdzisław Beksiński.
He's from Poland, okay? You would never have his art without his experience. What if he was a terrible person? Would his art still be beautiful? Yeah. If it looked exactly the same?
Why didn't you use the famous Austrian painter that we all are familiar with? That painter specifically was painting all of his art after serving in World War I and being in the trenches for most of it. What you basically would say is like a quote unquote bad person. Like, yeah, he killed people. He was active in a war. But like what?
Yeah, it would. Fun fact. Something that I'll say that'll sound pretty right is that your identity relatively doesn't matter in the grander scheme of the world. It only matters socially. Sadly, we live in a world where people have been prosecuted for their identity since...
Guys, socially, your identity is very important. Socially speaking.
Dawn of time, right? But... fun fact, it's completely societal, the reason people care about skin color or religion. It's all because of past prosecutions and people aligning with the belief that those things are right. If they never existed, which would be hard to do, if you had a time machine, go back in time and try to get rid of racism, that's really hard, okay? It is completely societal.
Yeah, guys, it's really hard to build a time machine and go back and stop racism. I completely agree. He's cooking, and what he's cooking is meth. This is awesome.
And what people will remember after you die isn't your identity. What color your skin was, what you personally...
I'm getting whiplash, dude. My neck hurts.
...identified with. I'm not bringing up the idea of, well, they dig up your bones. That's going to be female bones. No, actually, they kind of identify skeleton based off of the surrounding material that they find, like a bow or a
Oh, and then we're going to do the you can't identify bones based on gender identity. I it is true that females and males do have somewhat different skeletal structures. That is actually true, but all right.
A bow tie or whatever, right? That's the guess. Most of the time they guess. What
Because if you're a skeleton, all of your shit is going to be rotted as well. It's not like the fucking caveman fossils that they find have like a little piece of paper that says, I'm a girl, tee hee hee, or like a Barbie doll next to it. Like your clothes also disintegrate and deteriorate with time. They are organic fabrics that decay.
I'm saying is what you leave behind is really what identifies you as a person. If you write a book, if you make a painting, if you create something, that is often what you are, right? If you solve a problem facing the world, if you do something that has meaning, that is what brings you something above identity. It's meaning.
This is like literally the Jigsaw speech at the end of Saw 2, where it's like, what is the cure for cancer, Eric? It's immortality. By creating a legacy and leaving behind a life worth living, you become immortal. Me, when I accidentally do ayahuasca and watch all of the Saw movies, whoops.
It's an existence, really. Obviously, we'd rather people not be Nazis and fascists, but that's a constant problem we're trying to fix already. And again, a whataboutism would be to see what I'm saying and say, what, so we shouldn't do anything about fascists? That's a whataboutism.
No, you dumb fuck. That's called a straw man. That's not a whataboutism. Just because it has the word what in it does not make it a whataboutism.
You fucking idiot. Anybody who already typed that, you're stupid. You missed the entire point of the video, and you're dumb, okay? I'm sorry. Go read a book, all right? Go figure it out. People think
Go read a book. Books tell scary stories about Lewis Mcclung. Nice try.
their identity entitles them to things. White people don't own anybody. They don't deserve to own anybody. Sorry, conservatives. But also, a trans person doesn't get away with terrible rhetoric. It doesn't undermine the fact that they're trans. That doesn't matter. Again, identity doesn't matter. It's the actions and the things you make that matter. But I digress, okay? Your existence
little bit,
entitles
yeah.
you to one thing and one thing alone.
One thing.
Death. But to die, you had to exist.
Oh my god, dude, he went and he did an ayahuasca trip. He got fucking one-shotted by an ancient Mayan demon. His brain is literal pudding. Oh my god, he went on an ayahuasca trip. He's gonna quit his YouTube career and go join a traveling circus or some shit. This guy is so fucking stupid.
In my opinion, somebody existing also entitles them to health, shelter, food. But some people disagree with that. Yeah, man, sure. You're a billionaire. There's billionaires out there, all right?
Yeah. Do you think that people deserve food, water, and shelter? Billionaires. Great point, Lewis. Thank you.
They don't need all that. They're going to die with a full bank account. You are not special because you can make choices. Everybody can do that. The choices you make, though, are what separates you from everybody else. Be selfless. To be
And we should make the choice to put down the crack pipe.
remorseful. To be merciful. To be hateful. To be intelligent. To not care. To be strong in the face of oppression. Another whataboutism problem that I think I can bring up that will briefly explain what it means is that there's this common consensus among many, in my opinion, wrongfully opinioned people, that sexual assault shouldn't be in literature or movies at all.
Boy.
And to that I
Oh,
say,
boy.
so you want to erase the idea of sexual assault. You don't care what the reason is. You want to erase the idea of it so people aren't educated on it. Great.
True, because when you watch 180 Days of Sallow, that's a really educational, movie about the realities and the horror of sexual assault. Very true. When you watch 13 Reasons Why, it's really educational and it really, it really makes you think, and it's very educational in nature. He literally has been kicked in the head by a horse. He must release the horses.
Great idea. Good idea. Wow. That's such a good idea. Oh, no, but we want to stop people from putting it in their book saying specific things. You can't regulate that. Because then when you create this spectrum of what is allowed and what isn't allowed to be in a book, you then further venture into what that entails. For instance, if you say, well, any sexual assault that's gratified, right? Well, let me go get a book. Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. It is a story.
Oh! No! You're joking.
If you say, well, any sexual assault that's gratified, right? Well, let me go get a book. Lolita by Vladimir.
You guys, what do we do? Oh my god. He has a physical copy of Lolita. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even think you can buy a physical copy of that in America, can you? Is he American?
Vladimir Nabokov. It is a story about a man who is attracted to a minor woman. The actions that this man commits in this book are, in fact, justified by him because he is an unreliable narrator, because he is scum, because he is a terrible person. But if you were to say that people aren't allowed to justify it in their books for any reason, then this book couldn't exist. It just couldn't. It wouldn't be allowed to exist.
And one of the biggest controversies around it is that it shouldn't exist. It's actually illegal in several countries because it's written CSEM. It's actually illegal. That's why.
And therefore, a literary classic that dives into the psycho.
A literary class. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, dude. Oh my god. This is amazing.
Of people who think stuff like this is okay wouldn't exist. And fragile people who form opinions from a place of comfort that don't want to experience those things, therefore take away people's ability to access knowledge. It's borderline.
Read a book, immediately holds up a physical copy of Lolita. Okay, I want everyone to hold my hand. Okay, we're gonna hold hands and look at each other. Everybody hold my hands, okay? If he brings up Daisy's destruction, I will have a Boss Man Jack level crash out right now with all of you. I want us to hold hands so we're all on the same page. If he brings up Daisy's destruction, it's over. Okay? We're doing this together. We're almost done. I'm here with you. We're almost done. Okay? All right, let's continue.
Fascism to say that people can't put sexual assault in their books because there are a plethora of reasons that people would want to use it for the exact reason you don't want to for a good reason. Oh, but you've never experienced sexual assault. One, you don't know that. And two, that's a goddamn whataboutism, bitch. Sorry.
That's not a whataboutism, you fucking moron. Actually, as the raped, I'm speaking. Hang on, guys. The raped is in. Allow me to give you this dog shit take about Lolita. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
You don't know that. I can just hear everybody, you spend enough time making videos on the internet and everybody thinks, actually you don't know what you're talking about because I know everything.
Everybody thinks that I'm not raped, but I'm totally raped, you guys. Everybody is like, oh my god, Lewis Mcclung is so not raped. Guys, I am totally raped, just so you know. Write that down.
Stop, I know everything. How did you know what I was gonna say? Speaking of me and spending time on the internet, though, I am not a special person, okay? I might be one day, when I'm 80 years old and I've read enough books and I've spent enough time on this world, then maybe by then I'll be a genuinely individual person.
I don't know. If we keep hitting that pipe, dude, we're not going to make it very long.
But at this point in my life, just about everything I've done has been done by somebody else. Icarus. We all know Icarus, right? The wax wings flying too
close. And now we're talking about Icarus. What? Help me.
The sun burning up. Not that I flew too high or anything, but I have an Icarus story, and I am not special in that sense.
We did fly too high a little bit too much on this one, true.
To have experienced that, woo! Many people before me have experienced it, and many people after me will experience it. It isn't individual, right? And my experiencing that does not entitle me to anything. My experiencing that doesn't entitle me to anything except for the fact that I have experienced it, right? I don't get to go around claiming that I'm some kind of saint, some martyr, something that did everything right. That
his intelligence was stored in his hair. I think that's what happened. That's why his hair was so big. It was full of the IQ points.
Never messed up because, well, I was wrong, okay? That's the simplest thing. Oh my god. Even when I've given my apology to the person who it matters, even when I have accepted what I've done, people on the internet will take it upon themselves to use their opinion to attack me, to think that when I say anything...
Oh, so he's still ass mad about the Danky Jaboo thing. Got it.
It's undermined by the fact that I made a mistake, even though they are flawed creatures themselves.
Got it.
Aren't special. We, the collective, the royal, are not special individually. Every action you take will eventually...
It's like I'm watching a really fucked up Fight Club. You're not going to be a movie star. You're not going to be a rock god. We are, the society's abandoned children. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. Me when I do DMT and I watch Fight Club based. Let's go.
Have ceased to matter with any impact in some time in the far, far future. We try to be special and matter until we're old. Until we're old. And that's when most realize that was the best part. To be with others who aren't special. To wake up in the...
He's like 18 years old and he's like, yeah, as an old person with all this profound wisdom.
Morning next to another insignificant soul and smile. To do your laundry, wash dishes, hug, kiss, laugh.
Okay, you know what? I've actually agreed, guys. We need to ban Tylenol. It is very obvious that Lewis Mcclung took too many Tylenols before recording this.
Those who hate me, they'll forget me. They'll forget everything they've ever said towards me. Because that's not what matters. What matters is their connection with the people they care about. The time of my height on YouTube was the worst time of my life. I was in and out of the hospital. I was in and out of the ER because I was malnourished.
Why would you put this in a YouTube video? You guys, I was crashing out. You guys have no idea how mentally ill I was. You guys have no idea the depth of my mental illness. I think that we're seeing it now. I think that this is actually a really good time to go back to the hospital, I think.
That's my fault. I also neglected my family and my love as a person will pass in the blink of an eye without your notice. A few small and short-lived, little moments. They won't be on top of the world with all the money you could ever ask for, with the power to control others. They will be full of love with another sweet, insignificant person. Or, more concisely, as a cool, telekinetic, telepathic purple cat once said, I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Holy shit, you guys. He's actually unironically smoking fucking crack. He's smoking crack. What's
Thanks
the
for
rest
joining me
of
for
it?
this super serious, super cool video for super cool people. I care about you. For as many times as I called you not special, that's not an insult.
Oh my god, he's literally smoking crack. This is insane. This is insane. This is actually... He's actually unwell. This is crazy. Wow. Guys, I really want to smoke crack right now. Wow. Lewis Mcclung is threatening my sobriety.